Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by the founder and CEO of myarchival.com. They are a digital legacy archival company that saves lives digitally. He is Jim Gebhardt, better known as Noah. So we're going to be talking to him about his company, why he started it, and what they're all about. So listeners, if this is a service you need, check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today, Noah.
Thank you.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Oh, I'm just a regular grandpa. Used to be an electrician, and things came about to where I just have a lot of stuff that I was wanting to hand down to my kids and my grandkids, and there was really no way to do it. And so that's why we started myArchival.
All right. Well, basically tell us, let's say I'm a customer and I come to you and I say, hey, I'd like to use your service. Tell me what I can expect when I get the services, and basically tell us what it's all about.
Okay. What we do is we sell 10 gigabytes of hard drive space. We work through Amazon Web Services, which is the biggest website provider. And what you can do on that is you set up your profile. You can either be private or public. And then you can set up different albums or folders or groups, depending on how you want to do it. It can be it can be a very private thing that you're just basically sharing pictures, videos, audio, or just even a daily scribe, we call it, kind of like a diary entry. And you can upload information. A lot of places like iCloud, things like that, will give you a space to put stuff. But if you put 100 pictures on there, the pictures really don't mean anything without putting stories behind them. So with us, you can put a story behind it, audio or just text, and then you archive it, and then it's saved forever. Well, forever and ever, as long as ever is going to be. Put it that way.
Well, tell us what a memorial account is and the advantages of a memorial account.
Memorial account is somebody that doesn't need a full-blown 10 gigabyte account. It's like a 2 gigabyte account. And that could be like 1,000 pictures or more. And for somebody that has, like, say, my dad just passed away. Well, he passed away back in the late 90s, but he's going to have a memorial account to where he probably has like an hour worth of video and a bunch of pictures I can put some stories to. He doesn't need a full-blown account. And then when they go to the memorial account, people can visit it and also leave their condolences. And, that can be from a person who had basically the control of the account can then upload the condolences and stuff onto the memorial site. A lot of people can't actually get to giving condolences to somebody after they've passed away or to the family and stuff like that. So this is a good place to say, sorry they passed away, or give a short story, maybe a funny story, a good story about their life that they knew this person.
Well, tell us about the lifetime account and the benefits of having a lifetime account.
A lifetime account is, like I said, 10 gigabytes. You can, like I said, different albums to it. Like I have albums for pets. I have an album for my car, album for some of my photography work. You can link that to other family members. So I can be looking at my grandkids' pictures. They got individual accounts because they can grow up putting stuff. Their mom could be putting stuff onto their lifetime account. And as they get to the age where this is now your account, but they've already had their whole life saved up to that point. And that gets kind of important because I remember when I first started looking at the idea for this business is way back when late 80s, my daughter had to have open heart surgery. And it was kind of an electric surgery, what they call a hole in the heart. And we went and rented a video camera, and we spent the day with her, video recording her, playing at McDonald's and, things like that. And then thank God everything went just fine, and she's been perfect ever since. But hadn't gone that way, then it has something to hold on to. And the thing about find whichever computer it might be in, or, stuck away in some VHS box somewhere, you got to get stuff digitized and arch it onto myArchival site.
Well, why do you feel like people's memories are at risk? Because I know you started this business because you feel like people's memories are at risk. Why is that?
Well, I started looking into this probably back in just about 2000 or so like that. And I started looking at, because I did a video of my dad asking him family questions and when he grew up when he was a kid and stuff like that. Then he passed away a couple of years after that. And I made a DVD and I thought, okay, I want to preserve this somewhere. How do I do that? And there was nothing back in the early part of 2000. And then as time started going by, there started being things like cloud services and social media and things like that. But then the more I looked into that, if you had stuff on like iCloud, if you don't touch it for like 180 days, they have the option of going click, you're deleted. Same thing with Google, same thing with Facebook, kind of goes, we'll keep your stuff, but it's kind of up to them if they like you or not. So a lot of the places where, and then anything you have like at home where you have your backup hard drives, which you should have anyway, but those usually are at the, who might accidentally lose them, drop them, break them, what computer might blow up on you, what phone might go off on you. So we tell people, get the cream of the crop of your life, put stories to it, and archive it away.
Do you guys have any kind of free trial? Can people try it before they buy it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can go to myarchive.com, hit the free trial, and you get 30 days of you can set up your own profile and load stuff into it to see how it's loading. And then basically after the 30-day trial, it shifts over to, if you haven't decided to purchase by then, there's two ways of purchasing it, either a one-time payment of $119.95 or a 12-month payment of $10.95. And that's no more payments then. It's yours. You bought that space. And after that time period, that 30-day free trial period reverts over to what they call a view-only account, to where you can still view your information or other people's information that you've linked to, but you just can't upload anything more on it. It's kind of like you can view only. And then if you still want to, I think within 90 days, you can still have that shifted over to a regular life account. I'll have people try it, see how they like it. If they don't, no big deal.
So how many languages do you guys provide support for?
Right now, it's only English. I have my IT guy looking into, what do they call that? Amazon Web Services Linguistics Decoder, I think, something like that. Because we're getting at the point where they say, make sure everything is finalized on your website before you start really adding more languages to it, because it gets complicated where then you add more stuff and this and that type of thing. But we're looking into getting actually a number of languages. I'd love to be able to have, Spanish and Italian and French and Portuguese, as many languages as we want, because we're open to the world. Whoever wants to save their life, we want to be able to be there for them.
Let's talk about data security. People are always concerned about the security of their data. So tell us how secure the data is with you guys for people who sign up and use your services.
Well, the first thing we do is we use what they call not cloud computing, your main computers, when we do that with Amazon Web Services, so we don't have to have a bunch of rooms where we have our computers. We use their online cloud services, and then we back up with them, and then we back up with a tape backup with Amazon Web Services. And as we get a little bit bigger, we're actually going to then go off into another company called Iron Mountain, which is used by a lot of Fortune 1000 companies, like bank companies and things like that. And then we'll double, triple, quadruple back up the information, even with separate companies. So if something happens with something over on one company, we always have the other company. And at the same time, we're actually going to clone the whole process of what we're doing with Amazon Web Services, clone it, put it onto another service, and just have it sitting there kind of like idling, doing nothing in case something ever happens with one service. We can go to another service because your information isn't backed up. And then eventually what we're going to do, if we get into what they call cold storage with the Iron Mountain, you have DVDs. They have archival DVDs. You can put information on these DVDs. They actually have big machines and stuff where you can put that information where somebody's life account might not be, gone into for quite some time, let's say. But basically it's put onto that DVD, and then it's there for when whoever wants to then tap it into the future can tap into it and see somebody's life. It doesn't have to be on a computer. It can be on an archival DVD, which is a minimum good for 100 years plus.
So if somebody wanted to invest in myarchive.com, could they do that? And if so, how do they go about doing it?
Give me a call. That's for one thing. In July, I'm looking at doing a crowdfunding with a company called WeFunder, WeFunder.com. And what that is different than a regular crowdfunding because WeFunder works with investing, more with investors that want to invest into a business. So instead of going normal crowdfunding where somebody gives you $100 and you might get their widget or their service, you're actually getting like say stock or an option on a stock or something that actually has to deal with owning a part of the business. And that's one thing I want to do with this business is waiting for Delaware because we're C corporation and we want to be able to actually have to a certain point, we have enough stock sold, enough business built. It actually self-funds itself. So we don't have to worry about tons of advertising and things like that having to come through to actually keep our storage costs. It can just keep self-funding itself. But we are going to be with WeFunder. Sometime in July, we'll launch that for probably about a month for funding, and people can get on with that. And we'll have that linked on our website when that's going to be happening at myarkit.com. And they can go to that. They can learn about how to invest through WeFunder into MyArkit and get all the legalities and stuff like that and grow with us.
What else is coming up for myarkit.com? Kind of tell us about your future plans or future dreams.
Oh, we got, future services. I had a whole bunch of different services. We have, we want to incorporate a family tree at some time to where people can, there's a lot of family tree, places out there like ancestry.com, which are great places, but you can also download your family tree to a certain extent. Sometimes certain things you can't download from them. But put that into MyArkit, and then you have your family tree, and we can have it linked to other people within your family. Want to be able to see a family tree would be really nice. And then that also links to a thing we're going to have as a service called Time Tag, to where if you wanted to leave like a happy birthday greeting to a great grandson when he turns 13 in the future, that'll automatically, come up on their site and give them a happy birthday from their great grandpa. And then we have other services. Events services is going to be super big, I think. To where, let's say you go to a wedding and somebody bought an event the same size as a regular MyArkit account, lifetime account. But everybody at that wedding has a code, and basically they just download the code into their phone, and it basically gives them the small application, the MyArkit application. And then everybody's taking their pictures, let's say at the wedding or going through high school. Everybody has cliques and stuff at high school or sporting events. Everybody sends their stuff over, what they want to send over to basically the person who bought the account, the events account. They kind of edit through, the good and the bad, high schoolers. And then that puts onto the event. So if it's a wedding, we have a whole bunch of wedding pictures with a whole bunch of stories put to the wedding that people have actually contributed to. Kind of like what they used to do with the instant cameras on, somebody leave it on a table and take an instant picture, then they'd gather up all the cameras and stuff like that. But what we're doing is having the people have the ability to put stories to those pictures, send it over, boom. And then actually that event can keep carrying on. Let's say, first year anniversary, 5th year anniversary, 10 year, that could go right back to the same event. That's some of the things we're doing.
Absolutely. So myarkit.com, the website, are you guys on any type of social media? Or is that the best way to connect with you is through myarkit.com?
We are on Facebook, MyArkit, Twitter, MyArkit, and Instagram, MyArkit. So any one of those three can get to us, or just go right into myarkit.com and hit contact on the bottom. There's a little widget, the iChat, get into information there. More than one place you can just contact us at the top, hit free, try it for free for 30 days, start organizing a person's life. That's the little glitch sometimes we get with people. It says, I got so much stuff out there. If you're going to eat the elephant, you got to start one bite at a time. Grab some stuff, throw a picture in there, and just start telling stories. I go for a walk with my dogs in the morning every morning, and I have my phone with me, and I go, oh, hey, what was my first car? And I'll just record a nice story for 10 minutes about my first car, some cars and then I download it into MyArkit. Have something for my great grandkids.
Absolutely. Close us out with some final thoughts, maybe some stuff that we didn't talk about that you would like to touch on, or just give us some final thoughts.
The thing that really kind of motivated me to do this when I first started looking at this business is some of the people I'd run across in my lifetime. I wish I would have known more about their life story. And I can remember one of the first times we showed this to some people over in the Renton area. And the one lady, I remember I talked to her about being able to have something left. And she kind of teared up a little bit because she had lost her husband. And she has 2 little girls. Now they're going to grow up. And really the only memory they're going to have of their dad, or some of the, photographs and this and that, and some stories from mom, but nothing really right from the heart, right from their dad. And that was one thing that really touched me real good. And then another guy was Frank. I used to work with him at a gas station, and he was an older guy. This is way back in the 80s. And he was kind of had an oxygen tank wrapped around his, for oxygen. And he's up doing a cashier job. And we got to talk. I got to know him. He's a real nice guy. And I was just going, hey, what you do in life? Blah, blah, blah. Did you ever serve in the military? And he said, oh, yeah, I was in World War II. And I kind of thought that was fascinating. What'd you do in World War II? And he says, oh, I was a B-17 pilot. And I just write that, God, the stories he could have saved, just some of the memories and things he could have passed on to his kids. It's just all these things are being lost. And they're just some of these things we need to actually see what our parents and grandparents went through in life, some of the positive things and the negative things they went through too. We don't want to lose these memories.
That's absolutely right. And listeners, if you don't want to lose your memories for your kids or whoever you want to save them for, go to myarchive.com. And also, if you know of people who don't want to lose their memories, please follow, rate, review, and share this episode to as many people as possible. Android listeners, go to the Google Play Store and download the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast app. Noah, thank you for what you're doing, helping people save their digital memories, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Curtis.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.